Coach Walker, thank you for joining us today. It's been a while since we've talked. And first, as I always start things, how are you doing? How's the family? What have you been up to?
Oh, I think we're doing as good as anybody can. Um, you know, I think we're fortunate to be in a smaller town and not feel that urge to want to go places that we can't.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's a little stir crazy at times, just like anybody has. But we're doing good. The kids play a lot. I get
Mhm.
a, as a dad, I get to be home more than I've ever been.
Yeah,
uh, and spend a lot of time with them. So it's had its upsides. But, definitely missed the field, miss the guys. Um, there's a lot of things that you I think that we all took for granted that we're excited to get back to.
absolutely. And that's one of the things that, my family personally has been going through is just, living here in San Diego, there's just so much to do. But then, when it shuts down, you really can't do anything. And we understand, we've been locked down. We are listening to all the reports, and we've been practicing, social distancing and some just to be safe because, you and I both have younger kids, and it's one of those things that you don't necessarily want to put them, in front of, what's going on out there. But it's great to hear that you guys are doing well and staying safe. With this lockdown, we've all had a lot of obstacles and challenges that we face. As a head coach of the program, what are some of the challenges that you've faced, going into the season? Or actually, let me take that back. With the season, abruptly ending and then moving forward into the upcoming season.
Um, the first challenge was trying to explain it to everybody of like we don't know what's going on. Hang tight. Okay, this is going to be, we're done. And then converting what we did on the field to an online platform and keeping guys engaged and encouraged that even though that this was a tough time, they were still had opportunity to learn and
Sure.
opportunity to continue to expand, even though they couldn't get on the field. Um, the next thing was is understanding where our sophomores were at. All of our sophomores were petitioned to graduate,
Yeah.
and so it was like, okay, they're gonna move on, and that's the best thing for them. So finding
Mhm.
them homes.
Sure.
When we look at every 4 year across the nation, not knowing what they're doing either.
Of course.
And they're getting guys back, or losing, more guys coming in. We worked very hard for all of them, and we were able to find all of them opportunity. I think there's only one guy that chose to not continue pursuing playing baseball,
Sure.
which is fine. He still got his degree, still going to pursue education, transfer out. But
Good.
7 out of sophomores have signed national letters of intent onto the four year level.
That's amazing. I mean, going back to the challenges again, I mean, how tricky has it become now, especially with the recruiting of, potential incoming freshmen and some of those players that are coming back? I know you had very good, turnaround and matriculation as far as players moving forward. But what about those that are coming back? How tricky does that get, and how complicated is that as far as all of a sudden you have technically two, and not just your program, but other programs out there that's in the same boat that we are all in. You have influx of players that are coming back, and then players that are coming in. How is that juggling going to be handled?
I mean, fortunately, we're not on the side of juggling the sophomores coming back and
Mhm.
still needing to move on.
Sure.
We're happy that they've all found an opportunity to pursue the next level. But 20 guys returning from last year's team.
Mhm.
Um, and then I think we're right around 14, 15 new guys coming in for the
Oh,
fall.
okay.
So it puts our number right around 35, which is always kind of where we're at for the
Yeah.
fall. We don't like to go too much. Um,
That's hey. That I hear your daughter totally fine. Any calls I get these days, I always give a disclaimer that hey, if you hear a 3-year-old screaming, she's perfectly fine. So continue
yeah,
on, no problem.
no, she wanted an apple, I think. Right? But, So yeah, managing that, structuring, them understanding what last year kind of meant, where
Uh-huh.
we want to go forward with the program. The guys coming in, getting them to register for classes. Being a team that has, I think this year we're going to be more 50-50 of out of state to in state, but still solidifying our housing
Sure.
for out of state guys and helping assist them to that. I mean, that's a big challenge in itself. We've been fortunate enough to have really good academic counselors that have gotten our guys their ed plans and their
Mhm.
classes and registered. So on the school wise, I mean, we feel pretty good. We feel like we've had a lot of support from our academic side to get our student athletes where they need to be. Um, the hardest thing is telling them, what's this fall going to look like, transitioning into that. I mean, we have ideas of what that could look like, and we have ideas of what we want to do with the team, but um, trying to keep everybody positive about an opportunity that's still there is making sure that we push forward with that.
Sure. Now, I know you guys have had a couple of Triple C BCA executive meetings
Mm-hmm.
lately. Can you give us a little update on those meetings, some of the decisions that have come down, breaking down of what some of the conferences are doing? Can you give us a little update on how those meetings went?
Yeah, I mean, um, as baseball wise, we fall within the same plans that are going to be going on within the state. From
Mhm.
the conventional plan, which is the first plan of two scrimmages, 30 games, um, with a practice start date of February 15th, 2021, and competition date starting on March 1st,
Got it.
2021,
Okay.
and then two more other plans, contact, non-contact, and contingency plans. Whereas for baseball, those are the same. Whereas official practice date starts March 27th, and the season will start April 10th.
So
Um,
March 27th is the first practice date. Is that what
yeah,
there's a look
yeah,
like there?
being the first date that you're technically considered in season.
Okay.
That's not to say that teams aren't working out because they have their class,
Sure.
within their class. But as the official practice day starts, that's when you're in your 2 week training period of where you can play your two scrimmage games, um, really solidify your roster, get kind of amp up.
Yeah.
It's kind of that 2 weeks is kind of our spring training, if you will. And then yeah, season starting, and that contact, non-contact contingency plan schedule. I mean, we would be playing, conference wouldn't end until June 12th next
Mm.
year. Um, so it's going to be a different atmosphere. We know that we're going to be across the state. All sports are going to be a little delayed.
Sure.
We know that all seasons have had to be shortened, and that's not what we know is that has nothing to do with budgets hurting or anything across the board. It comes down to the safety of teams traveling across the
Of course.
state.
Of course.
Minimizing contact and stuff like that, while still providing the best opportunity for all of our student athletes. Um, so, a 30-game schedule, or if it bounces down to the 28-game schedule, still provides an opportunity for those athletes to have a full season.
Yeah.
And the scrimmage dates give them opportunity, and having a playoff system in place. Uh, that's those are all important things. Now, for the conferences, every conference is kind of doing a different thing.
Yeah.
Us at the IEAC, I've been working with John McHenry, our AD rep out of Saracoso. That and we spoke with the coaches, and came up with, like, look, we were at 24 conference games before.
Hmm.
Realistic, given that how far apart some of our teams are, that staying at 24 games
Yeah.
is the best thing to do, to solidify and guarantee those games within
Got
each
it.
other. Um, so we're going to say at 24 games, and then so that would basically give us the first week of the season,
Hmm.
uh, a week to play non-conference games, and then we go into like basically a round robin play for 2 weeks, where every
Yeah.
team also bye date there, and then the regular season expanding over, I believe, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that, with every team having a bye. So opportunity to match up with other conferences that have buys. You know, we spoke with the South Coast conference. They're going to do something very similar to us,
Sure.
where all the teams are going to have a buy. So I believe it's also the Western States North or the Western States South. One of those two is going to have a bye as well. So
Got it.
there's going to be conferences that we could match up with, and when teams have buys, be able to get a couple games mid season and keep the ball rolling.
Got it. Yeah, one thing that I've realized with this last couple of months is everything is fluid. Everything moves. Yeah. I know when the decisions came down, we were all waiting for what the CCCAA would come down as far as what their verdict's going to be as far as moving forward. And if there will be football, when is football going to start? Is it going to be now or is it going to be later? So I totally understand that. Now, I know rather than getting into all the details, which we can probably talk about for the next 20 minutes about eligibility and the rules and what the CCCAA handed down, if you have any players that might have any questions about eligibility, what are the best resources at Barstow? Who can they contact?
I mean, for us, I believe first and foremost, contact coaches. If there's anything that the coaches don't know, we would talk with our athletic director and be able to find those answers. But we know that the CCCAA has basically been followed a similar patterns in NCAA and the NJCAA. Yeah. The guys are getting their year back, so the biggest thing is getting those guys coming back to understand that technically they're still freshmen, and all the guys coming in are going to be freshmen.
Yeah. It's like a restart button.
Right. Yeah. Right. And if they're a sophomore before, they're still a sophomore.
Yeah.
So understanding that, it's basically, as you said, it's a restart. And there's going to be different dynamics to the way that each team's able to prepare and the way the season's going to run. But biggest thing is we just want to have a season. We want to play. Sure. We want to get together and train and be grateful for that.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I thank you for your time. Just before I forget, one of the resources that we do have is on the IEAC website. On the far right tab there is a COVID-19 tab there with a drop down that has all the articles that's come out from the CCCAA and the updates that's happening. So if anyone that's watching this right now, if you need more information as far as eligibility questions, visit the site, go on the far right hand tab and look at that link. Coach Walker, thank you again for your time. Glad to hear you guys are doing safe and sounds like everything is moving forward.
I appreciate you having me.